time. Brandon Moreno, Steve Erceg. Does he have the tools that it takes to hang with the top of the division, or did he just have like a really good matchup against Alexandre Pantoja, and now you're kind of just being thrust into this position, right? You're getting to fight Brandon Moreno, the number 2 dude in the division, a top 5 guy, after what? After a knockout loss to Kai Kara France? How did the pieces align for Steve Erceg to potentially be next in line for a title shot if he gets a win here?
Well, I do think a lot of it does go into the UFC is looking for that star. As deep as that division is, there's been a lot of people who have had the chance to be able to be that star, who are looking to climb that ladder and get up there. One of the notable ones that comes to my name is the one that just knocked him out, right? Kai Kara France. You would think a lot of people, or he would actually be clamoring to get that title shot going forward, but it really does seem to be the newer stars, the people that have a little bit wider of a spread, that are getting a little bit more notoriety in the UFC. And I do agree. I mean, I do think as quick as Steve Erceg's come up has been, I think he's right in line to be that same kind of solid fighter where he's able to mix it up in multiple different ways. I mean, we saw at the Pantoja fight, yeah, he hung in there. He had a really good performance, but Pantoja's fairly akin to how a lot of the division fights, right? So if you're able to hang in there with the big dog, you're doing pretty well against everybody else in that division, minus the one knockout that you just had.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, man, but I'm pretty sure Erceg came in as a favorite against Kai Kara France, which goes to show even that much more. Like, that's how impressive that Pantoja performance was. But you have to admit, Pantoja, indomitable force right now, some would say cleaning out the division, but he's kind of a crude fighter, and I say that in all, like, the most respectful way possible. This is what I mean when I say crude. He is a grappler at heart who's going to walk you down, eat your punches, throw big shots, and take your back, right? There's nothing like, how would you say, exemptional. There's nothing that's evolutionary about that. It's bread and butter. It just works, right? Because he's so good at what he does. Erceg, I would say, is that new style, that hybrid style, lengthy, uses a lot of range, distance management, and all that. But when you're fighting a guy in Brandon Moreno, who can be a little unpredictable, man, who do we get? Do we get flow state Moreno, or do we get the one overhand at a time Moreno? It depends on what Erceg is able to do in terms of mixing it up. But AJ, just how does this all come full circle, right? Erceg loses to Pantoja, a close fight, but you lose Pantoja, unanimous decision. You get knocked out by Kai Kara France, and your best win in the UFC so far is Matt Schnell. If you're Brandon Moreno, former champion, 3 losses in the last 5 years, 2 split decisions, one to Pantoja, one to Royval, and 1 unanimous decision that was quite a while ago, man. So with all of that being said right here, who should be the rightful favorite in this one? Moreno currently minus 245 favorite.
Just on paper, you would think it'd be Erceg, especially for what he's done as of late, or at least how the fights have gone as of late. I mean, you look over at the Brandon Moreno's previous fight, the Pantoja split decision. Like, he lost that fight, but it was very, very close. Mm-hmm. And with how the media is presenting it, you would think it'd be Steve Erceg is going to be the favorite in this one. But I'm glad to see that the respect has earned, or at least the fight style of Moreno and his accomplishments have earned him the right to be the favorite. I do think it would be that. I do think Moreno's deserved to be the favorite right here. I'm also surprised, Derek. It's not a little closer than a minus 220 or whatever it is.
I don't think it should be close. I think there should be a pretty wide line because Moreno has shown, right? Like, his track record shows that he should be the rightful favorite. But again, it's which version of him shows up. I think the man that has the sharper striking, the man who could dictate the pace of the fight better, probably is Steve Erceg, even though he's coming off of that knockout. But this is really like the film study that I have here is that Erceg, sick combination boxer, but then he defends with length and footwork, which is awesome, right? But if Moreno starts doubling up the same way Kai Kara France did, you lean out, right? Hand on the chin and everything, you lean out and you get just popped right there on your chin and you get put down, right? Moreno has that opportunity, but again, I don't want to harp on this too much. AJ, what version of Moreno is able to set that up? Is it the flow state version, or is it the I'm just going to bomb overhands at you? Because that's the mixed bag that we don't know what we're going to get with him.
Yeah, that's a great question, Derek. And even on one of my notes, right, I have find the timing and then bring out that slip overhand right that he does so well. Because if he is able to find the range and the timing that Steve Erceg is going to present, we've seen the tendencies of Erceg, like you're saying, pull out. Even though he has a defense high, it's not high enough to not get caught in the chin. And Moreno has an amazing ability to slip under and then throw a big right hand, but he needs to do a little bit more up front ahead of that. So I'm looking for, like, to answer your question, I'm looking for a little combination of the both. But I do think if he's able to have flow state up front and and then find that timing, find that distance, and then land those big overhand rights and just not let the pressure stop. Just keep, one shot after another, keep piling it on, let that snowball take effect. That's when he's able to have Steve Erceg overextend, and then Moreno is able to find that chin.
If Moreno is going to live up to being a minus 245 favorite right here, does he have to be a complete mixed martial artist to win this fight? Do you think he could win a pure kickboxing matchup against Erceg?
I don't think so, Derek, especially because we've seen Moreno not necessarily get controlled at distance, but almost his striking is nullified, right? And then his pressure gets nullified, especially with Steve Erceg being the longer fighter right here. He's able to do more damage at a distance, where Moreno needs to really get inside the pocket and really do some damage with his hands, with his jerky style, right? Have Erceg be confused on how this fight's going, and then to get to your bag.
Yeah, I think the championship medal and the experience of Moreno should prevail in this one, but to keep it as simple as possible, I think Moreno does accept the back foot just like a little bit too much. He gets a little too comfortable sitting off there. So what he needs to do is literally a repeat of Kai Kara-France. All right, it's fine if you get corralled up against the cage, but you have to explode forward. You have to take advantage of that lackadaisical defense of Erceg to see what is he going to give you? What different looks? Maybe mix in a takedown. And if that comes to fruition, let's see how we can make some money on this fight, man. If Brandon Moreno is the clear favorite in this one, minus 245 is a price. I'm just going to say that it's a price. I don't know if it's a price that I want to pay against Erceg, who I see has the talent, just hasn't put it together yet. I'm a little bit more interested in some of the other props. So for an example, a decision prop here, again, at elevation, so we have to think about it, but a decision prop from what I'm tracking most recent, plus 130 for Moreno. Are you taking that, or are you in the finish camp?
I'm actually taking that, Derek. Even though Steve Erceg got knocked down in his last fight, and we saw how it is possible, and how laying it out, if the slip in the overhand right does come to fruition, I can see that happening. But at elevation, gonna be tired. I do think how Brandon Moreno is able to fight different styles of fights. He's gonna be looking to use his experience to gain control and then work that way. I like the decision a lot more right here. I don't know if I can see another submission coming, or another finish coming, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing a knockout unless he pulls the Kai Kara-France right there, unless he lands just the big shot. And I'm a little concerned, man, because if this is a pure kickboxing matchup without too much grappling, I'm actually a little concerned from the cardio perspective of Moreno. I think that Erceg could be the fresher fighter if it goes long. And that's just what we're going to have to see right here. But I guess the big play that we got to make right here is, what are you taking? Moreno? Give us the actual play on your end, and are you entertaining over 4.5? If you like the decision, you either take the decision or you take the rounds.
I like the decision, Derek. Moreno, by points, especially at plus 130, if that's where you're able to find it at. I like that way more than the over at 4.5, which I'm looking at is minus 300. Even the odds makers think this is going to be a long fight. I like Moreno for the decision right here. Let's see if he can get it done at plus money, too.
All right, like I said, championship medal will prevail. That means that we're going to have a stronghold, if you will, on this flyweight division, man. I just don't know what happens after this one. Let's say Moreno gets the win, right? All right, well, you already beat Erceg. The champions already beat Erceg. The number one contender is beat Erceg. Kai Kara-France probably gets a shot, and then you've already fought Moreno. They just need some new life in the flyweight division, brother. I don't know. All right, man, but that is your main event right there. A pretty cut and dry one.